Right, there we go. So, John, over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and get this set up here. All right. So like Colin said, I'm very excited to be here today with everyone talking infield. Right. It's a passion of mine. And as we go through tonight, I'm going to go and teach a lot from fundamentals to some of the basics and move our way up through a lot more advanced things. Because as I've learned throughout my years doing baseball, is everybody's at a different level, right? Some people are very, very advanced at where they are, and some people are at the beginning stages. And we want to make sure that we're not leaving certain people out by doing the drills that we're doing. So as we go through the drills and in this clinic tonight, I'm going to show different variations that you can teach players and coaches of all levels and abilities. So it's a very diverse skill set. All right, so a little background. Like Colin said, I played at Wayne State University. It's in Detroit, Michigan. It is a Division II school, for those who are familiar with that. We had over 45,000 students on our campus, so it was a very large campus. I did play professional baseball down in Georgia, in Macon. It's an independent league. Played there for 3 years. I played corner infield and outfield. I am currently the varsity head baseball coach at Yorktown High School here in Virginia, and we are starting in 8 days our season. It'll be my 10th season coaching. And then I am also the owner of Primetime Baseball. My business partner, Chris Brissett, that name may sound familiar to some of you. He is actually a dual citizen and plays for Team Great Britain. He's been a catcher, a switch hitting catcher, and he played with them from 2009 until he was supposed to play in the the World Baseball Classic qualifier right before COVID hit. So, and I've personally coached all over the world. Been very fortunate to coach throughout Japan, China, Italy, Spain, Austria, Hungary, Germany, Czech Republic, and Slovakia, and had the opportunity to work with youth all the way up through their adult leagues, the professional leagues, doing coaching, playing tournaments, games, a lot of variations. So baseball is a passion of mine. Educating the youth and people who want to learn to grow the game is a passion, and especially being able to do that throughout the world is something that excites me. So looking here at our agenda for today, there's a lot of different things, and I kind of go from the basics of where our stance should be, where our feet should be, where we should be, and how we teach that. And then I work in some drills that we should be doing every single day. My high school guys, my travel team programs, my adult league programs do these infield drills every single time that we meet. And on days that we're not able to meet, they do these on their own or find some ways to do them, which we'll also discuss tonight. We'll do footwork drills that some of you have seen using agility ladders, and some that you have not seen. And then we'll be doing different ground ball reps, drills, showing the ways that we can improve vision and how our players see the balls coming off the bat. And then we'll also work on double play drills. The final part we'll cover tonight is something I made up called the forgotten components of infield play. And I'll dive into that a little bit more later, but to kind of catch the attention, this is where us as coaches really like to get mad at our players for not doing or not understanding. But then when we sit back and reflect on these things we'll talk about, I realize, and we as coaches realize, we don't actually teach these, or we don't teach them in depth enough. So we'll get into all that. Just a little heads up on every video that you will see today. I have, they're all on our YouTube channel. So when this is done, you'll obviously, Colin will get you all a recording, but you'll also be able to watch these videos again on our Primetime Baseball YouTube channel. This allows you to see, pause, replay, and do all the drills to really fully understand them. And then finally, at the end, I will definitely answer any questions, comments, all that, to really make sure that, this is as informational for you all and you learn as much from this as possible. So we're going to get started here. Just a quick little video, about a minute long, but always enjoy seeing this.
He's short. Crawford drops it and has to recover, throws it away. And here comes Jake Lamb. The Diamondbacks take a 1-0 lead. Off his fist, rolled a second. Bobbled by LeMahieu. Everyone's safe. It's 3-0. 3 errors by the Rockies. Chopper towards short, a run. Oh, it's off the glove of Simmons, the same hop that Rollins saw earlier in the ball game. Simmons gets here. Bird will score. Everybody's safe.
All right. So I love watching that video because one of the things that it shows is that errors are going to happen no matter how good you are, right? You're going to see that some of the best players in the game on there, Anderson Simmons, we saw DJ LeMahieu, these guys are making errors on routine ground ball plays. So one thing I always have to remind myself when I'm coaching and I'm doing this is that, look, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to make errors. It's part of the game. But our job as coaches is to minimize the frequency of how often these events happen, right? So how can we turn that ground ball that was missed or that bad throw into a coaching and a teaching moment to really help our youth and our players and coaches in general grow, right? So I've come up with a few reasons of why these errors happen. Right? One, a lack of focus, right? You saw that ground ball to DJ LeMahieu, gold glove infielder, routine right at him, makes an error. Right? He probably saw it was a really easy play, thought this is not a difficult play. I'll be able to do this, lost focus on what he was doing, and therefore made an error from that. The second thing is rushing mechanics, right? As they're going to do these drills or as they're going to field the ground ball, maybe they see a fast runner or it's the bottom of the 8th inning and it's a 2-2 game. And this is a bang, bang or a really fast play, right? They rush what they're doing. And by rushing their mechanics instead of taking their time, an error occurs. Bad approaches to the ball. Simmons here missed the chopper that was right at him because he read the ball wrong. He didn't see it off the bat right, took a bad approach to go get it, and the ball ate him up. And then finally, poor mechanics. Just overall, a combination of all these. They're just not focused on what they're doing. And as they're going to field the ground ball, maybe they don't get their butt down low enough. Or maybe their arms are in the right position. Or if they do field it properly, they get into a bad throwing position and then use any of these above. They rush or aren't approaching the ball correctly. All these things lead to why the errors happen. So the first thing we're going to get into when we go to do infield is we got to know where our stance should be. We got to know where we should be standing and what is the proper approach. So as we go through these videos, I'll play the video. I'll talk a little bit about the video and then we'll watch it again and I'll mute it. And as we're going through, I'll kind of dissect the drill and whatnot so you can see how it works. So here we go.
We're going to start when we go to field a ground ball, what's called the ready position. Our ready position are our feet shoulder width apart, our knees are bent. We're here ready to roll. All right. Our hands are not here on our knees. This isn't ready. We're not ready here. Okay. The ball is hit. We have to get ourselves ready. So you can have a couple different ways. Some people like to have their hands out. Some people like to have their hands here. I like to have a little bit of rhythm. Okay. A little bit of rhythm here, ready to go. So from a side angle, you can see feet shoulder apart, knees bent. And I want you to look at my butt here. All right. As we're doing this, when you go to field ground balls, we don't field the ground ball like this. All right. This looks like a giraffe going to drink some water. All right. We don't do that. When you go to field the ground ball, we're going to get our feet shoulder apart, our knees bent, and we're going to field the ball by sitting down. All right, our butt's going to sit down, and we're going to field this ball out front. Now, as we go to field that ball, notice my hand. I'm right-handed, so my glove's on my left hand. My right hand is going to be right over our glove. That's doing a couple things. One, if the ball's to bounce up, we hope when it does that, it's going to hit myself in the hand, which is going to keep it in the glove. Also, when the ball rolls into the glove, we want to make sure it stays there and allows for a quick transition. Okay, so looking at the stance again, fielding the ball out front, right here. Now, when we field the ball, we're going to go from here to the ear. Okay, we're going to field the ball, and we're going to get up to our throwing position. Okay, so I'll show you from this angle. We're going to field it here and get up into our throwing position. You can see I'm ready to roll. I field that ball, I get it into my ear, I'm ready to make that throw. Fielding the ball when it's on our glove side. All right, so for me, again, as a righty, that's going to be when the ball's hit on the left side of my body. All right, so sometimes when you go to make a play, it's not going to be right at you. You're going to have to kind of run to your left or right side to field it. So for us working on the glove side, that's the other thing we're going to be doing in this drill. Okay, so I'm going to be in my stance, and glove side is fielding the ball out here. Now, when we go to field the ball out here, we want to field it, get our other hand down as close as we can, and then we're going to come up in our same throwing position from here to the ear.
All right, so I'm going to break that down a little bit. Let's mute it here and talk about this stance. Okay, so when we go to do our stance, we want to make sure we stay in that feet shoulder width apart. That's an athletic position. No matter what sport you're playing, you need to be in an athletic position in order to make any type of movement. And same thing with fielding the ground ball, right? Feet shoulder width apart, knees are bent, and I'm moving. I'm keeping my body fluid, keeping my body flexible. Now here you can see the mistake a lot of guys and a lot of girls use. The mistake they do is they go to field the ground ball. They don't get down, right? It's tough work. It's tough to have to bend your knees. It's tough to have to stay down in that position. It hurts, it burns, but that's the proper position. One of the phrases I use is, if it's hurting as you're in that position, you're doing it the right way. So you can see right there, I'm down. My eyes are focused directly on my glove, making sure that ball goes right in when I go to make my throw. When I field the ball, sorry. Now, the position that we have to make sure we're here is our hand over. We see a lot of players kind of get a little lazy and putting their glove hands here, and their throwing hand gets on the side. We want to make sure that acts as your top hand acts as a block to keep that ball from bouncing anywhere else. Now, when you go to throw, this is probably one of the most important parts with the stance, is when you go to field the ball, there are a couple ways that people teach it. Some people teach that you want to funnel the ball into your chest or into your stomach and then bring it up to your ear. All right. It's not an incorrect way to do it by any means. Why I like from here to the ear, one, it's a phrase that our newer players and our youth players can kind of get used to saying, here to the ear. All right. But also, it's the quickest way to get our hands from the fielding position to the throwing position as possible. If I have to bring the ball from the ground into my chest and stomach, then up to my throwing position, it's taking a lot longer. And we don't have that much time from the time the runner's running from home to first base. So anytime that we can eliminate some time is what we want to try to find a way to do. So that's that statement, from here to the ear. Okay? And they said there's other phrases, but that's the one at prime time and with my Yorktown guys that we have found is the best kind of way to relate it to the players. The other thing I cover in here is where we field the ball in our stance, or where we field the ball not only at us, but also on our glove side. The key thing with fielding any ground ball is fielding it in front of your body. We never want to field that ball back in our stance, because the moment you field it back in your stance, it allows the ball to take a hop and bounce over your glove, but it also doesn't allow you to gain momentum to go make that throw. So right here, I'm fielding that ball out front. Right, I'm able to field that ball in front of my foot. So when I go to get my momentum, everything's already in front of me and everything's moving towards my target, whether that's first or second base. So just a little review for some of you, and some of you, this may be new, but this is a great way to transition into the drills that we're going to be doing, which are the infield daily drills that we do every single day, not only at my high school, but also at our baseball academy. So the drills we'll start off with today they're called infield daily work. And truthfully, if you can find a player or find some players who can do this for 5 or 10 minutes a day, whether with a sibling, a parent, or even on their own, you're going to see tremendous growth, and tremendous growth, not only in their fielding ability, but also in how their hands work together with their glove. And all of these drills, you'll see that as we go through them, they're done with and without a glove. Okay, so you don't have to have a glove to do some of these infield drills. All right, so the first one we've got here is our knee drill, and we're going to be doing it with the glove. I said with or without the glove, and you're going to start off on both knees. And as you're on both knees, you're going to be fielding the ball out in front of you. That's what we're focusing on in our stance, out in front, and you're going to do a variation with the glove, or with one hand, with two hands, with the glove side, and with backhand. So we'll go ahead and watch this video, and then we'll discuss a little bit more. So you can see here, he's fielding the ball out front. He missed it. That's all right. All right. But now he's going two hands right out front. And then he goes glove side. Notice where every time he fields it, it is out front. He's got a little bit of movement going towards his target. So I'll show you here again. One hand out front to the side, out front, two hands. And see, he made a mistake. That happens. So this guy right here, he's a big dude. He's going to play at Bucknell University, Division I school in Pennsylvania. He's a first baseman and a pitcher. So I've got him doing all these infield drills, even as a first baseman. Because a lot of people think, oh, first baseman, they're just a first baseman. Well, as a former corner infielder, I take offense to that. Right. So this is the infield knee drill with no glove. You're going to see then we transition to do the same drill with the glove. Okay. So as he's going through, I'm talking to him too. I'm telling him what's coming. Glove side, backhand, one hand out front, two hands out front, letting him know what drill we're doing and how it's going. All right. Now, one thing to kind of pick up on as you watch some of these daily drills is listen for a rhythm. Listen for a rhythm between ball hitting the ground, ball hitting the glove, ball exiting the glove. You can do it on the bare hand, right? That rhythm really helps the player and the coach make sure that the player is doing it the right way, right? They can hear a rhythm, and that little rhythm is going to get their feet moving when we start standing up in a minute. I'll play it one more time. Listen for that rhythm. All right. So I like to talk to my guys while we're doing the drills. I like to make sure that they are engaged, because I also want to see if, as I'm talking to them or as they're doing the drill, can they also focus on something else, right? I want to challenge them. So like this kid right here, he's one of our top players in our program, Ryan Osinski. I like to make sure that not only can he do the drill, but can he also do it and engage and have some type of conversation. So for some of you out here who are looking at this and saying, yeah, this is a nice, easy drill. It is. It's a good way to start the practice, start a workout, but start to engage in the player. Ask them how their day is. Ask them stuff that makes them think a little bit, because that's going to really get them to focus on fielding the ball, but also thinking about a runner running to first base or someone calling two for a double play. Make them multitask. Make them think more than just the task that they are currently doing. And that's really going to push some of those players to that next level. All right. So like I said, every drill that we do is also done standing up, or is also done with and without a glove, but we do them on our knees, but then we also will do those drills standing up. So everything that we just worked on, out front, one hand, out front, two hands, glove hands, backhand, all those are done while standing as well. And we're going to watch this. Now, I do have up here, it says no glove, a mini glove, or an infield paddle. Okay, so what are those? Some of you might not be familiar with that. A mini glove it's a training glove. Or if you're an older player, maybe you have an old glove that you used when you were younger, that is what a mini glove can be used. And that's really focused on the hand-eye coordination and making sure that you're watching that ball go into your glove or into your hand instead of just putting it down there and getting a little lazy. Right? Because as we talked about at the beginning of the talk, that's where errors are going to occur when they get lazy, when they just do it without really focusing on their task. And then the infield paddle, it's something that we here in the States, we call it a pancake too. It's just a flat piece of leather that goes right over your hand, and it really forces you to use your throwing hand to assist in fielding the ground ball instead of relying solely on the glove. So here's the drill that we just did, and this is a standing one with no glove. Same thing, listen for the rhythm.
Two hands, one side, back hand. Or one, yeah. The exact same thing you just did, but standing. You ready, Rue?
Here we go.
Here we go. Both side. Back in.
Now, one thing Ryan does here that he's a really tall kid. And if you look at him, like I said, he's 6 feet 5 inches. He's very tall, but as you watch him go to do this, he comes up a little bit after each drill. So if you watch as he goes to field it, he feels the ball, and then he stands up. So see, he feels it, and then he stands up. That's a no-no. We want to try to avoid him doing that, because what he's doing is he's teaching his body that after you field the ball, it's okay to stand up. We want to stay low as long as we possibly can from fielding the position to our throwing position, or from here to the ear. We want to stay as low as we possibly can to help make sure our throws are accurate. So this is one corrective that we could do with Ryan, is making sure Ryan is staying low and not coming up too early. But you can see same thing. He's focused on his hands, right, watching the ball all the way in and fielding that ball out front of his body and not back in his stance. All right. And then the last standing drill is the same thing. I'll show it here. We'll go through it a little bit quicker, but it's with the glove. Same drill. Now watch how he does this. Watch this one right here. He fields this one, and he fields it, and his glove comes to the ball and then moves through the ball up to, so that will eventually get to his ear. So watch this one right here. As he fields this ball through the body, he goes through the ball, gets his momentum going. So now when he goes to throw the ball, all his momentum will be going towards his first base or second base, wherever he's going. And every one of these, you see his gloves moving to and through the baseball, right? To it and through it. And that's an important part of all these drills, is making sure that you're not losing momentum and you're not losing ground. All right. And the last one of our daily drills is with our standing is exactly what we were just talking about. Fielding the ball, coming to it, fielding it, bringing it from here to the ear, and getting to our throwing position without actually throwing it. So all these drills, we haven't thrown a single baseball yet. We're getting their feet moving. We're getting their body going. We're getting a sweat while also honing in on the fundamentals. So here's this, all the things we just worked on, but now putting it into a ground ball. His glove side here, out front, up to his ear. He could get his glove and his hands up a little bit higher. But you see he's fielding it out front, getting his body in a good position. And then his backhand, same thing. I know we didn't touch on backhand in the beginning, but watch how he fields the ball. He stays low. And then as he fields the ball and stays low, we'll pause it here. Right from this position, he's working that glove moving towards me. And as it moves towards me, he's going to move his body as well towards me, because I'm simulating first base. Right. So he's getting everything moving to and through the baseball, which then helps him bring his hands up to his ear. And now he's in a strong throwing position to have an accurate throw to first base or wherever his target may be. So like I said, those are all daily drills that, whether we're focusing on defense that day, or even if we go and we're doing a team workout for any of our teams of any age, from our 8-year-olds up until our college and professional athletes, this is done every single day, right? No matter the winter, the summer, whenever the weather, you can do this drill, a tennis ball inside your house. There's a lot of flexibility and options to still do these drills without a lot of space and without another person really doing it to you. You can use a wall, throw a ball off a wall and whatnot. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is using the agility ladder. So as we go to field ground balls, we have to be agile. We have to be able to move, make quick movements, and also react to what the ball is going to do. So this next sequence of drills that we're going to watch, players are going to be going through an agility ladder, and they're going to put 1 foot in each box. And you can vary the agility part of it. If you want to have them do 1 foot hops or 2 foot hops, you can adjust that however you want. So that adds a level of difficulty and a level of cardio to get a little extra work for them. But they're going to go and work on the same things that we just talked about, right? Fielding the ball out front, fielding the ball glove side, backhand, and then we add in a few different things with it. So we'll watch this drill and then we'll break it down as well. This is our footwork drill. This was done with my high school team. So these are all high school kids age 14 to 18.
Yep.
Watch how they bring their hands from here to the ear. And see, he was lazy, right? He used one hand. Now watch the other guys, 2 hands. Good. A couple guys get lazy and you have to call them out, let them know that other hand down there. He didn't get his hands up to his throwing position.
Back in. Get that. Good.
Now I'm going to pause because I want to get to this next part here in a second, but I love videoing my players. I do it a lot because you learn more. Sometimes like I did this drill and I thought my guys did it perfectly. And I went back and watched the video and I was like, why do I have guys being lazy? Why are guys not getting their knees bent? Why are they not getting in throwing position? Right. And that's going to lead to errors as we get into the season next week or two. So watching the beginning again, right? As we do this drill, they're going 1 foot in each box, fielding it out front. Look how they come up to their throwing position, right? They're going to first base with this ball. Now here you see he fields it with one hand, right? This is a little bit lazy of him doing it, but as he does it, look where his body, look at the position his body's in. It's not an athletic position, right? His feet are not set. He's fielding the ball back in his stance. He's looking at the ball, but look at his right hand. It's kind of flying on the side. He's not in an athletic position to make a throw to first base. Okay, so this is something that's nice to see, whether another set of eyes or if you video, even just the drill stuff to see what your players are or are not doing. Now, in a minute, we're going to go glove side. And here I'm going to roll the ball and it's going to come over in this area where the top part of the Y is. The players to field this ball need to open up or drop step to field this ball. And watch here in a minute how they go to do this. When you go to field a ground ball to your left or right, you have two options. You have to either try to cut it off. Right here, he can either go to cut this ball off right away, or if it's a little bit further away or hit harder, he needs to open up and go towards the track. So you'll see as I challenge guys differently based on their ability, you'll see some of them open up. So JJ here cut the ball off. Here he cuts it off. I think one of these guys here, I challenge him a little bit and make him run a little bit more. Might be right here. No, maybe I didn't. I was softer on him. All right, but here, these just right to the side. I like to have them open up a little bit. There you go. I got him. Now this one is a backhand. This one I'm rolling to the opposite side and they have to open up, and you'll see I throw it hard and I make them run for it, but I make them open up and take an aggressive step to go get that ball. So this is where you can vary. You can do variations of this drill with players at different talent levels, right? You can challenge your ones who are ready, but the ones who aren't ready yet to take that next step, you don't have to push them as hard and you can get them going a little bit different pace.
Good.
All right, so I want you to hear it.
Right back in.
So this is one of my top guys here.
Get that. Good.
Here too. All right, make them work quick.
Guys, open up deep. If you can't get there, open up deep.
And I'm telling them, I'm reminding them, giving them those verbal cues. Open up deep.
Open up deep. Open up deep. Back in tail. Slow roller. Last one. Slow roller.
Now the last one we're doing is a slow roller. So this is a ball that maybe wasn't hit that hard. And for us, we call it a do or die play or an all or nothing play. And this is where the infielder is going to go as hard and as fast as he can to field this ball. And if he misses it, that's okay, because it's a play that you have to get an all or nothing play or he's going to be safe at first base or she's going to be safe. So you'll see the moment they come out of that agility ladder, they are going full speed to go get this ball. Here we go. Staying low. See that? Staying low. Do or die play. They get it or they don't. I want to back up here and watch this kid. This kid's name's Trevor. He's a 16-year-old, and it's this kid coming right here. And I want you to watch how he fields the ball. It's this guy who's going right here. The next guy who's finishing the ladder now. Watch when he fields the ball. Watch where his glove goes. He's going to push his glove to the ball, through the ball, and get his momentum going towards his target while still getting his hand up into his ear throwing position. All right, here he goes. Through up to his throwing position. That's big. So like I said, this drill adds athleticism, right? The boys have to do movement. They have to work. They have to get a little cardio in it, but they're also working hard at doing the daily work that we already had worked on that day. All right. Now, these next two drills, they're variations you can do, and coaches, this is at your discretion how you do it. But I call it the zigzag drill. So what we like to do with our infielders and with all our players is you have to incorporate fun in all of your drills. It can't just be all work, work, work. You have to have fun in there. And guys love to get after it. They love to dive. They love to jump for the ball. They just love to be moving, right? So this drill, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll or throw 4 balls at them. Okay? They're going to open up to one of their sides, whichever way I throw the ball, and they're going to field a ground ball. Then I'm going to throw them a pop-up, and they have to find the pop-up. Once they catch it, I throw them another ground ball, and they have to run after it. And then I throw them one more pop-up. We'll watch it, and then I'll explain why.
Here we go. Got it. One more.
Okay.
Here we go. Come on, get there, get there. Last one, last one.
Get there, Jonah. Get there, Jonah.
Good job. Next guy. You can stop, Alex.
All right. So why do we do this drill? I'm going to do it again and turn the sound off. Watch their feet. Look how quick they have to move. Look how they have to react to something else. We're adding quickness. We're adding first step quickness. We're adding reaction. We're adding agility. And none of that has to do with the physical part of fielding a ground ball. If you watch how they go to field, watch how this kid right here, Jonah, goes to field this first ground ball. Boom, look at his eyes down at the glove. His glove's open. He's staying low. He is getting himself, after he fields this, he's going to be in his ear-to-ear throwing position. Right? This is exactly what we started practice with, our daily work. This is what he does every single day. Okay. Now he reacts. He runs and finds the fly ball. Now here's another ground ball. Look at that footwork. He has to react to this. This is a little bit tougher drill. So for some of you who are maybe just getting started or a little bit newer to the game for some of your players, this might be a drill that you can maybe go 2 balls with and just do a ground ball and a pop-up, right? And as those players who are a little more advanced, you can challenge them and maybe throw it a little bit further. Now, a variation is this one, where they're only doing ground balls. I'm giving them 4 zigzag ground balls, and I'm doing it super fast, all right? So you're going to see, oh, that's the same one here. You're going to see this one right here. This is the exact same drill, 4 ground balls, but 4 zigzags, but they're all ground balls. And as soon as they field it, I throw it on the other side. And I want to see how aggressive they are at fielding these balls. All right, so let's watch it and we can chat. This is tough.
Job.
He may miss it. He may field it. That's okay.
Yep.
Watch this. Gets it. Gets it. Gets that one and then misses that one. But look at the effort and the hustle and the intensity that you see from this player. All right, he went all out.
Okay. Oh.
And there he opens up. He doesn't get it. That was a tough one. Maybe a little unfair.
I got this freshman year.
Now see, like that was a great run. That was a great run that last player did there. If you watch him, he's staying low the whole time, fielding the ball. His feet are moving quick. His agility there, it's nice. This is a really good run here, these 4. Fields it nice out front, glove side. Look at that. So this is a tough drill. This version is tough. I would not recommend doing it that fast for some of my younger guys or for some of my newer players, but for some of the more advanced, this is a good drill to really push your players and see how aggressive are they to go and field that ground ball. Are they going to attack it or are they going to kind of sit back a little bit? All right, so that's the zigzag drill. That works on agility, reaction. All right, the next drill we're going to talk about. This is one of my favorite drills that we'll talk about today, and it's the short hop drill. And the opening video we watched, Simmons missed that ground ball. It was a chopper at him. And I talked about one of the reasons errors happen is because players not focusing, right? Rush plays, but not reading the ball off of the bat correctly, right? And not getting a good read on that. When you go to field a ground ball, there are 2 points in that ball being hit to you that you want to field it. You want to field it at the very bottom as soon as it hits the ground, or you want to field it at its highest possible point on a bounce. Here's reasons why. The highest possible point of the bounce is going to be usually right at, depending on how high the bounce is, it's going to be right at the throwing position of a player. So they can field that ball. Their hands are already up in the throwing position almost. And that's a nice, easy transition to make that throw. The other option is to field it the moment it hits the ground. And the reason we want to field the ball the moment it hits the ground is we want to make sure that that ball doesn't have a chance to take any crazy spin or any hops, but also we're already down in a low fielding position. It allows us to field the ball, use our momentum and work to and through to our target. All right. So what we're going to do, and this drill we're doing right now is all with the glove. And but what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a ball to them. It's going to be higher up in the air, and some of them may be a little bit lower. The player's job is to field the ball the moment it hits the ground. Right. So the moment the ball hits the ground, their glove should be right there catching it as it short hops. Right. So I'm going to, as we do this drill, you'll see first time through, it's right at them. A chopper or right at them, they have to field it on the short hop. The second time they go through, I'm going to throw the ball to their glove side. So they need to run over and field it like a ball hit to their left. The third variation, the third time through, is a backhand. So even if they can get all the way to the ground ball, I still want them to backhand it. We need to teach them and make sure they get tons of reps doing that. And then the final breakdown of the drill is a slow roller where they're coming in full speed, attacking that ball. If they miss it, it happens. But if they get it, that's the do or die or the all or nothing play that we have to do. Okay, so here's this drill. Same thing with my high school guys. Try to listen to the intensity too that the players have. This is a hidden part of baseball that gets overlooked, and really it's sports in general, but it gets overlooked a lot, is how much the teammates have in their enthusiasm, their picking up, their positivity, how well that really translates to your team and how well your practice is. That's something I'll be covering a little bit more next week when I'm talking again next Wednesday. But I really get into how the team concept of picking each other up really goes a long way. So listen to these guys; they're always talking and communicating. As you can see, throwing the ball, high bounce, high throw, it bounces. As soon as it bounces, they get it. He missed it. That's all right. But look how they go when they field this ball. They field it right on front, short hop as soon as it bounces. Now here we're going glove side. Now look at this one. He caught it. He had a bad route. Ben here, this kid in the blue, the brighter blue, had a bad route. He did not see the ball come right away. And as he went to go field that ball, instead of staying low to the ground, right, he saw it took a hop. He fielded it at the height, the crest of it. So watch this. He's going to field it higher. And there it's still okay, right? This is the highest point that ball bounces. He can field that ball right there and automatically get his hands from his ear to the ear throwing position, even by fielding it that high up. Now I'm going to challenge him and throw it over here. I'm going to throw it on their glove side and watch how they still have to get their body over and field that ball up front. Good the talking. I love the talking. You hear me? I'm giving them that positivity. Even if they did it a little bit wrong, I still want them to know that they're getting that energy. They're working hard. See now, this is a big one here. This is the adjusting of the feet. This taller kid here, his name's Skaggs. Watch how he goes to attack the ball. And then he notices that he timed it wrong. He did not take a good time at it, or he didn't time it correctly where he could go and get that on the short hop. And what he does is he adjusts his feet. He kind of does a stutter step and readjusts himself to feel that ball in a much better position. Here we go. Let's watch it. See, there's the stutter step. All the way back. Here we go. Let's watch it again. He gets that stutter step going. And he's coming up here. Right here, watch it, stutter step, and attacks it. That's a good job there, reading the ball. Now here's backhand. Even if they can get around, I want them to backhand. Even if they can field it a different way, I want them to get used to backhanding that ball, staying low.
glove. You're there. Open that glove. Stop, Shark.
Now, if you go back and watch, we missed a lot of ground balls here, right? Backhand is the hardest play for the youth to learn to do, right? Because we hone in and we force and we do so much work on fielding the ball out in front with our hand open, with our glove ready to roll, but we don't focus enough on our backhand, and there's more deficiency in the backhand. So if you counted out of these 10 here, we probably missed half of them, and that's okay. It gives us something to build on. But look why they're missing it. Right? Why are they missing it? It's because they're not staying low and they're not working through. Trevor here, when he went to field this ball, he goes right here. He goes to field. Look at his body. His body is up. The glove is up, but the ball is down here. He did not get his body low enough to get it as soon as it hopped. He was a little lazy, a little slow. Maybe the timing was bad, but all those together lead to our outcome, which was an error.
Sit down, Trevor. Sit down. That glove. You're there. Open that glove. Stop, Shark.
All right, now last one. Here's our slow rollers right here. This is the last one of the drill.
Slow roll. Come good.
Right out in front. I don't do as high of a hop. Well, I did there, but I try to mix up my hops here, but I really try to get the guys going all out. If you do this drill, make sure nobody's tripping over the balls in front of them. I've had that happen before. All right, so that's our short hop drill. I love that because it forces the energy of the guys moving, but it also gives them a target, right? Catch the ball right as it hits the ground. All right, so move on to the next one. And I know I'm throwing a lot of drills at you guys. You know, we have 90 minutes. I want to make sure I cover a lot of stuff. All of these I'll be able to talk more about at the end, go into a little more detail, answer questions that you have. And as we mentioned at the beginning of Colin, that all of these are on our YouTube channel so that you can go back, check out the Primetime Baseball YouTube channel and see all of these drills and you know, use them as you please. The next part we're going to get into is varied ground ball drills. So I picked this up from a coach. His name is Kai Correa. He's an infield coach with the San Francisco Giants. And I learned this about 3 or 4 years ago. I was watching him do an infield clinic, and I loved what he was doing with it. And I had to try it with my team. And I didn't understand this concept, but what it is you're going to hit ground balls from multiple different angles. There are different locations of the field. And what we're doing is we're teaching players how to pick the ball up off of the bat, right? One of the reasons people make errors, we said, is not picking the ball up off the bat, not getting a good hop. Well, now we're going to give players opportunities to do that. And we're going to start from a close location, and we're going to move our way back and back and back. So as I start this drill, we're doing it on an American football field, right? Our baseball field is too wet right now to get on it, but we're doing it on a turf field, and we're going to start normally right in front. I'm not very far away, and I'll hit them just ground balls. After they go a few times, I'll move back, hit them ground balls. Then I'll move back further, and then I'll move back further. So here's the variations.
Nice and
So
easy.
I'm just hitting them from a knee, just staying nice and close. You can, I don't want to roll them here. I would like the ball hit off the bat because we're trying to get that read. We're trying to get them reading the ball off of a live baseball bat or softball bat to get that more realistic read going on here. So you can see as they're doing these, I'm close, not very far away. I think here it's about 10, 15 yards. It looks like 10 yards away. So not too far, just getting them consistent reps close. I'll probably go through from this position 5 or 6 times each player. Once I either feel they have it, it looks good, or I've given them about 5 or 6 rounds, I'll go on to the next drill, right? And the next one, I move further back. I'm still on my knees. I'm still staying lower, okay? I'm a little bit further back. I've doubled the distance away. And just regular ground balls right at them. I'm not trying to make them work crazy hard. I just want them to train their eyes to see what it looks like. Notice I'm hitting choppers at them. I'm hitting regular ground balls. I'm mixing it up. Short hops, 1 hops, no hops, right? I'm challenging them with every possible ground ball that they could get from every possible situation. There's that. So you can see every possible situation. Now I'm going to go to my third one. The third, I'm going to move back even further. Now I'm standing. Now it's a more realistic ground ball. If I were on the field, I would be in between home plate and the pitcher's mound. I'm hitting at shortstop. I like to have all my players take ground balls at shortstop when we're doing team infield drills, just to keep all the players in one spot. So I'd start, like I said, right in front, go on the infield grass, the pitcher's mound. This would be right in front of the pitcher's mound. Same thing, mixing all types of ground balls at them. Choppers, one hops, making them work, making them see balls from all different angles. And this is really helping them pick up the hop, get a good read of the ball off of the bat. Even though it's not game situation, it's as close to a game situation as we can possibly make it for our practice without doing an actual live game. And you can see Trevor right there was in a rough position. He was not ready to field that ground ball. Right here, Jonah was in a very good position to field that ground ball. All right, and now the final one. I'm going to go all the way as far back as I would hit a ground ball in a game. And this is full distance ground balls. And I do the same thing, choppers, right? Bouncing ones. Sometimes I'll mix in a little slow roller. I'll hit them hard at them, one hops, everything. Making our players work all different fronts. There's the one hop right at them. And every one of these, I'll go through as many rounds as I feel they need. If they need a few more, I'll mix in a few more, right? But I usually like to make sure they're getting plenty of ground balls every day I practice that I can, but the variations. So I don't have it on here, but as soon as I'm done with this, where they've all now taken ground balls, I will then break them off into their position of where they're actually playing, first, second, short, third, and then I'll hit them and my assistant and I will hit ground balls to them at their position, right? How I like to teach the infield is kind of how you would want to build a house, right? You have to have a solid foundation. If I don't have a solid foundation, my swing is going to be bad. My pitching mechanics are going to be bad. My infield mechanics are going to be bad. But how I teach infield is the same way. If I just go up and start peppering and hitting hard ground balls at the players, I haven't warmed them up the right way. I haven't prepped them to step into that situation, which is why I start with the daily work. And then we go into different drills like we just watched. And then how I break off the ground balls that I'm actually hitting to them. This is the most realistic game situation ground balls they'll see. That's how I like to break down our practice with our guys. All right. The next one, jump back inside. Just so you know, this is our infield facility, or our indoor facility that Chris Brissett and I have in Virginia here. And it's a nice space. We have 5 batting cages, a full weight room, 2 pitching lanes, and it allows us to do all of our off-season work for our players when it's too cold and snowy for us to get outside. But this is a drill that I did when I was younger. I did it off my garage door. I did it off a wall, anywhere I can find, but they're called wall ball drills, and you can do them on your own or you can do them with a partner. But this is a great drill just to work on your hand-eye coordination and fielding the ball when you don't have someone to work on with you. So we'll watch this.
The wall ball drill, we're going to be doing it 2 different ways. We're going to be using with the glove and without the glove. So I'm going to start without the glove for the first part of the drill. Right? So I've got my wall here that I'm doing my ground balls with, and I got my baseball. I'm going to get myself into my infield stance. My feet are shoulder width apart, knees bent. All I'm going to do is throw the ball off the wall. I'm going to be fielding it the first time with my bare hand on my glove hand. So I'm a right-handed thrower. I field with this hand, so that's the hand that I'm going to field the ball with. I'm going to field the ball out front. Now notice my head looking right down at the baseball, and I field the ball out in front of my body, not the back of my stance. Okay? Nice short ground ball, right out in front. Okay? This is a good warm-up, getting us loose. And you can see, depending how you field the ball off the wall, sometimes it becomes a slow roller. Sometimes it can come hard.
So you see here, this is our stance that we're talking about. Feet shoulder width apart, knees bent, butt down. My eyes right on the target, and we're fielding every ball out front, right? This is a good way to revisit our stance.
After we field one hand, we're going to go 2 hands, okay? With no gloves though. Right out front, 2 hands.
So as you can see, this is going back. This would be another variation, if you want, of our infield daily work, because we're doing all of our daily work. But if I don't have someone there to actually do the daily work with, instead of making an excuse, I can't get better, right? You can. You just got to find alternative ways to do it. And here, if you have a baseball, tennis ball, racquetball, lacrosse ball, golf ball, literally any type of ball that's roughly that size, you have no excuse if you can find a ball and a wall. You can see, just fielding the ball, all of our infield daily work that we covered already going into that. All right, I got a few more drills here, and then we'll definitely get into some questions here. But I get asked a lot, how do you do and teach double plays, right? Because, it's part of the game. You've got to turn double plays. There's a million different ways to do it. But I like to do what we talked about already, which is breaking it down into a smaller piece of the double play before jumping into the full play. So what I do is I break our players into positions. And here, these are my third baseman and second baseman. And they're working on turning double plays together. So here, this kid right here is going to roll the ball, and he's going to roll 5 or 6 consecutive balls to this same player. This player is going to field it, throw it just like you would to second base, and then get ready for another throw. The repetitive motion, the repetitive movement is what we need. We need to really get the grasp of these skills that we're trying to teach and promote. We need to make sure that they're doing it as many times as possible and as closely together as possible. So you can see, fields it, throws it, fields it, throws it. And as a coach, you can pick up if you want to go faster for your more advanced, like this kid, all right? Or you can slow it down, right? Maybe your player needs a little bit more time in between ground balls. That's fine. It's just the repetitive motion, the repetitive movement of the drill that really helps the player figure out what he's doing. And you can do it by any position. So that's my third baseman making throws. Here are my second baseman now doing the same double play turn. Field, turn, field, turn. Still focusing on our target. We're not throwing as much yet. We don't need to throw too much yet. But he's working on his footwork. He's working on making it a game situation type play without having to make the full throw yet. So we've covered their third base. We've covered their second base and throws. Right? I'm going to skip this one for a minute. I'll come back to it. This is first base. And then we have our other throws, which are flips. Sometimes you don't have to make a throw to turn a double play. You may have to do a toss, underhand toss, or a flip. Here's that one. So here, there's our flip, an alternative play. Now, this drill adds a component. Look at the person receiving the ball. That person is now acting like a shortstop and can work on their double play turns. Right? So now there's 2 things being done at once. The fielding of the turning of the double play, and then the person receiving the ball working on their double play turns. So in a drill that we're really focusing on one part of it, it accomplishes 2 things at once. And we can break it up into smaller groups if need be, and really work on that. The final one we'll look at is our first base work. First base is a little bit difficult, and that was my baby. That was my big position. And we'll talk. We're going to end with our first base stuff, which some pretty interesting stuff. I'm going to bet most of you have never seen before, because a lot of the clinics I've done here with a lot of our American coaches, they came up to me at the end and said, "I have never seen that before, and I'm using it." So we're going to get into that in a minute. But first base here, there are different ways to turn double plays: either the glove side turn or the backhand turn, right? And we were going to work on both. Actually, the third way is a ground ball right at them. But here we're working on the glove side double play turn where they have to do a spin, or the backhand where their body's already turned to that position. So you can see here in the background, that's the one we just watched. I've got 3 or 4 groups going at once. So now there's no standing around, right? There's no people getting bored. There's not enough reps happening. Players are constantly moving and constantly active. And during this whole thing, I have one coach, and that's me doing it with all the infielders. So, you don't have to have 4 or 5 coaches to do it. If you have 1 or 2, you can, and you teach the drill properly and expose them to it, it allows them to, kind of coach themselves as they're going, no matter what level they're at. All right, so there's our double plays. And now this one right here is the last double play one. This is a little more advanced drill. So this is taking what we just did and working on our double play flips and throws to second base. So what happens is I've got groups broken up at shortstop right here, and then second base, and I've got a base right here. I'm going to roll all the ground balls to my shortstop, and I'm going to make them move. And based on where they move is going to determine what they're going to do throwing wise. So if the ball's hit right to them or to their glove side, they're going to field it and they're going to underhand toss it. If the ball's hit to their backhand or they have to move this way, they're going to make a throw. So let's go ahead and listen to them talking here. They're communicating with each other. This is great to see. Here's the backhand. There's our throw. Backhand, our throw. And what they're saying, they're communicating. The person fielding the ball is saying ball, ball, ball. And the person at second base is yelling 2-2-2. They're telling that person where to throw the ball to. All right, so that's our double play turns there. I'll mix it up and I'll do the exact same thing to second base. All right, and I don't think I put it on here, but it's on the YouTube link. I'll do the same double play to second base where I'll put them in the same situations, move them around the same way, and really make them work that way. The final component you can add to this is you don't tell them where you're throwing it. You can mix up and go, second base, and then go shortstop, and then do shortstop again, and then go to second. You can mix up where you're throwing and the frequency that you're doing it. And that really starts to add a couple different difficulty levels. So for some of you coaches out there who have some more advanced players or a more advanced team, this is a good differentiation of the drill. All right, and this takes us into the last part of the clinic I got for you guys, and this is the part that I'll be doing at the ABCA here in Washington D.C. in 2024, I believe, or 2025, one of the two, and that's the forgotten components of infield play. All right, so like I said, these are the drills that we as coaches, I love to get mad at my players when they don't do it, or when they make errors when they do it. But then I realized that I've not taught it. Right? I didn't teach that enough. I was more worried about ground balls or batting practice or what my pitchers were doing, that I didn't focus on my first baseman and how they move at first base. Right? If my first baseman doesn't catch a ball, I'm mad at him. But did I teach him how he should be moving his feet? Did I teach him the proper footwork at first base? The answer is no. Because even here, as someone who does this all the time, I still neglect this part of the game. But I'll be the first person to get mad at my first baseman when they miss the ball, right? So 2 years ago, right before COVID hit, I really focused on focusing on my first baseman, focusing on the footwork of my infielders. And I saw such a dramatic decrease in errors, an increase in productivity of my infielders by focusing on the forgotten components. All right. These are going to be some interesting drills. And I'll definitely clarify all these as we get going for those who have questions on it. So the first one is the recovery drill. So this is literally an error a player has just made. And it's how the player reacts to the error. Because two things happen. When a player makes an error, they pout, they put their head down, they put their arms up like, man, how did that happen? Depending on their age, they may cry, a lot of things. But it's how do they recover? What we want is they bounce it, it takes a bad hop, they make an error, they go and attack the ball and go make a play, right? So what this drill is they go to field a ground ball and they purposely miss it. They either hit it with an open glove and knock the ball out of their glove, or they close their glove, deflect it, and then they recover, get the ball, and pretend to make a throw. Or they can make a throw. So we'll watch the drill here.
Good.
There you go. All right, so here Ryan is going. He misses it, purposely misses it. And as he purposely misses it, finds the ball, makes the play. Now, there are a couple ways on how you can recover, right? When you miss the ball, oops, sorry about that. When you miss the ball, ideally, here, that ball is bouncing. Ryan should use his hand and glove to pick that ball up. He is a super athletic kid. Like I said, he's got a full ride to a Division I scholarship or a Division I college. So he's a pretty athletic kid, but we still would like to see them use their hand and their glove when that ball is still moving. If that ball is at a standstill or barely moving, then we're not opposed to them using their bare hand. But I would like to see the two-hand recovery. Fielding it with your glove in hand. But you can see with this drill, he's missing it purposely. Now Ryan he starts here and watches with the open glove. See, open glove, miss, recover. Now he's going to switch over and do the closed glove. See that? So he goes to field it, and the glove is closed. He's like the backside of the glove, and then he just kind of bats it and then goes to make a throw. That's a different variation of the same drill, right? The backhand of the glove, just batting it down, finding the ball, and making a play. All right, that's the recovery drill. We are teaching how to recover from an error. We're teaching that once you make a mistake, which is going to happen, happens to everybody, how do you recover from that? Do you give up, or do you find a way to make the play? Right. So, I mean, I was never taught how to recover from a ground ball. I've been doing baseball since I was 3. I'm 35 now. Right. I never taught that. This is something that I found very helpful and very interesting, is how do we teach our kids when they do fail and when they do make a mistake, how do they properly recover? All right. You see the flag. I hope you all see that. The love, the GB love we have out there. Coach Brissett, like I said, for those who missed at the beginning, plays for the Great Britain national team. So we wear it and wave it proudly in the facility. So you'll see that throughout all these videos. Now, the next thing we do, first base scoops. As a first baseman, I never like when my first baseman can't pick a ball. But once I said at the beginning, I don't teach it. I never taught it. All right. So I really focused in on it. And we do it from the ground up, right? We don't just start firing short hops at the first baseman and hope he can scoop it. We break it down to the simplest form and then build it up. So we're setting the foundation. So here in this drill, Ryan's starting out on a knee, and I'm throwing him 4 or 5 one-hop, short hops right in front. Okay. See how he's fielding it? I'm not trying to trick him. I'm not trying to tease him. I am throwing the ball right there every time. Now look at where Ryan fields this. This is key. Right, his foot is on the bag. We want to make sure we're promoting and teaching that. He is low to the ground. He's lunged. All right, I have him in a lunge position, knee on the ground. But when he fields the ball, look at his eyes. His eyes are directly at the glove. And when he fields it, that ball and that glove did not go higher than his shin. The reason for that is if we get too big of a swipe after we go, or when we go to scoop the ball, that ball is going to fly out of our glove. And when that ball flies out of our glove, or it becomes more vulnerable to fly out of our glove, then we get in trouble of errors happening and errors occurring. So we teach short stabs, short scoops to the ball that stay at or below your knee, but we try to stay at our shin. So you can see right there. After I do 4 or 5, then we go backhand. Same thing. We want to stay at or below our knee with our scoop, and we're working to and through the ball just like we do when we backhand. Right? And then I'll alternate. I'm going to go one glove side, one backhand. One glove side, one backhand. Nothing tricky, super simple, very low stress, but it's focusing Ryan to field the ground ball. This is what I do for our first baseman. This is now part of our infield daily work. Our first baseman must do this with each other every single day that we get on the field. Okay. Now, I didn't put it on here, but it's on our YouTube channel. What you can do while you're doing this is you can mix it up. I can move back a little bit. I can stand up, and I cannot tell the first baseman where I'm throwing it. And then I just kind of pick a spot. I throw a glove hand. He has the glove out front glove side. I throw a backhand. He backhands it. That way I can keep an element of surprise, so he's not expecting it to be in the same spot every time. I can mix the hops. Instead of doing short hops, I can do long hops where I have it bounce 3 or 4 times before it gets to him. There are all different types of variations to every single drill that I'm showing you, and I will be showing you. And it all goes through the different plays that you're going to make as an infielder and the ability of your player. Now, the next one, this is crazy. This is the part of the clinic I always love, because this is what I learned in college. And I've had a lot of college buddies who played much higher baseball and higher levels of pro ball than me, who were never taught this, and they love when I hone in on this. And this is a visualization drill that makes your players think. And you do not need a baseball, a softball, a field. You can do it in your kitchen. You can do it anywhere. It's that easy. but it's all visualization, vocalization, and making the player work. Okay, so I'm gonna, it's all written up here, the drill, but I'm gonna verbally go through it with you. So when you go to do, when you're at first base is broken down into thirds, right? So think of the base and think of 3 parts, right? So I can do, I should have put a picture up here so you can see this, but the inside third, the inner third, which is the part of first base closest to home, that's where your foot is going to be anytime a ground ball is hit to third base, right? When the first baseman goes to stretch, their foot wants to be on that inside corner because that's the closest point to third base. And that's the easiest point for them to catch the ball and be close to that position. When the ball's hit the shortstop, the first baseman wants to have their foot on the inside third, the middle third. That way they're close to shortstop. They catch the ball as soon as they can at the closest point from the shortstop releasing it. And then a ball hit the second base, the first baseman wants to be on the outer third of first base. And Colin, I'm going to send a little note, a diagram of first base being broken down into thirds and make that a little more clear because it may be a little bit confusing verbally, but when you watch the drill, you'll see. So this first one is a pointing drill. I have no ball in my hand. Ryan is not going to catch a ball. He has first base right in front of him. All right. He's standing on it. His feet are shoulder width apart. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to point a direction and Ryan is going to pretend to receive the ball from the direction I'm pointing. So from my angle, if I point over here to the right side, Ryan's going to move his feet and catch the ball from third base. If I point right at him, Ryan's going to put his feet right here in the middle and receive the ball from the shortstop. And then if I point this way, Ryan's going to move his feet and position himself on this corner to catch the ball from the second baseman. So it's all pointing right here. He's reacting to my pointing. There's a point, third base, he moves. There's a point to second, he moves his feet. A point to second again, it's all random. There's the shortstop right at him. So you see, wherever I point, he is moving his feet. As a first baseman, you have to know where you are on the bag at all times. You don't have time to run to the base, look down, see where your feet are, then get your feet in position and catch the ball before the runner gets there. It's not possible, right? You're going to wear a ball in the face or the runner's going to be safe. So as we're doing this is a great drill to really work on visualization, footwork, and teaching the player where the base is. Okay, so I'll do it one more time. It's just pointing, but watch his feet. Look how his feet move to that side of the bag to catch it. Here, his feet don't have to move as much because his right foot's already on the base. Right at him, he steps in the middle. All right, this is the intro to the drill. This is step 1 of the drill. This is the visualization pointing, okay? Now we go to the next one, and this is a verbal cue. So Ryan is going to do the same thing, but his eyes are closed. And Ryan is going to listen to me call out a base or a position. And when I call that out, Ryan's going to move himself to that position with his eyes closed. This is the feel. This is where the player needs to feel, know, and understand where they are on the base. So let's listen and let's watch Ryan do this.
Third base. Second base. Third base. Shortstop. Second base. Shortstop. Third base.
So with this, you can add a big degree of difficulty by speeding it up, right? If you need your player to, if it's a younger or newer player, go slow, right? Don't have to rush it. Go slow. Take your time, call a base, make sure they get to that position, then go back, okay? If it's a more advanced player,
Third base.
you can challenge them.
Second base.
So Ryan, a little more advanced, I go a little
Third
faster.
base. Shortstop. Second base. Shortstop. Third base.
So that is the visualization with your eyes closed. His eyes are closed. He is reacting. And now Ryan's eyes are open. Let me make sure I do this one right here.
Second base.
All right. Ryan's eyes are open this time and he's reacting.
Second base. Shortstop.
So the only difference is his eyes are open, but
Second base.
I still like to do every aspect of this to make sure they're doing it the right way. Now, the last part of this is my favorite, and it's chaos, and it's more hard on the coach to make sure they do it right. All right. But this chaos drill, what's going to happen is the player and the coach are going to agree before the drill starts what cues we are going to do, what verbal or vocal cues. So we are either going to agree that Ryan is going to move off of my voice, or Ryan is going to move off of where I point. Whatever we agree on, I'm going to say or point differently. So for example, if I say, Ryan, we are going to go wherever I say, whatever position I say, we're going there. But I may point a different direction. Ryan's eyes are open. His job is to go by what we agreed on. All right. So let's watch this. It's difficult. I won't lie to you. When filming this, Ryan messed it up a couple times because it's tough. I messed it up as well.
Second base. Shortstop. Second base. Third base. Shortstop. Third base. Second base.
So this is me pushing Ryan. I'm forcing him to think and react to what I am saying and not do what I'm pointing. Right. And to adapt this drill is do the opposite, right? He needs to go where you point and not where you say. So let's watch it again.
Second base. Shortstop. Second base. Third base. Shortstop. Third base. Second base.
All right, so that's a crazy drill. That's a tough drill. It's tough on the coach to make sure they do it right. It's tough to do, but it really forces the player to think outside the box and really helps elevate them to that next level. All right, the final drill, the final thing I have for you guys, I don't have a video on it. I could not get a video for it, but I will get one up and we'll upload it to our channel. It's called the bull in the ring. This can be done for any position. This can be done for catchers, infielders. But what you do is, I'll use it for the first baseman. We'll talk about it. You have a first baseman on first, and basically the rest of the team makes a big arc all the way around the infield, from catcher, home plate, to third base, shortstop, and the second. And the person at the very end of one of the lines, every one of those players has a ball, by the way. And we'll say go, and the person at the end of the line is going to throw a ball however they want. A great throw right at their chest. A ball in the dirt, they have to scoop. The ball that's a little bit out the bag, they have to jump off and catch it. And the first baseman will have to do that. They catch it, scoop it, whatever, drop it behind them, get back on the base, and then the next person in the line throws the ball. The idea is to keep it continuous, keep it rapid, but make sure that everyone's safe by making sure that the players back to their position, eyes on the next person going. You can do this for catching, blocking drills, or receiving drills. You can do this for second base and third base, balls coming in from outfield or throws from the catcher, and teaching the player to adjust and react to a different ball being thrown or being hit at them. So I promise to get a video up on that. It was a little bit tougher to do with the bad weather we had here for a while. So I do apologize for that, but this is a good drill that you can use for a lot of different positions. So the final thing I have, I just want, I have a bunch of friends and family who will be looking at this and watching, and a couple popped on in and out today. Just a couple people I just want to make sure to thank before I open up to some questions. The three guys at the top were my coaches in college. Ryan Kelly is the head coach there. He was a pitcher at Michigan. He taught me something that I still do all the time, and that is playing for the name that's on the front of the jersey and not the name on the back. Right? Everyone wants to play for yourself, right? But you're playing for your team, your country, your program, and playing for that is what really helped me think more instead of a me, but a we attitude. Jay Alexander was the head coach who recruited me and took a chance on me to give me a scholarship to play at the next level. And then Coach Hughes, Logan Hughes, was my coach, and it was my infield coach in college. And a lot of the drills I learned in the how I do things, I learned from his teaching. Obviously, I have a lot of our families from Primetime and from Yorktown High School who will be watching this, and we're just watching at our facility. So definitely want to give a little shout out to them. And then my family, my wife was not a big baseball fan when we first met. She's a huge baseball fan now. My parents are diehards. They're at everything. So I just want to give a little shout out to them. And then the last thing I have before I send it back to Colin and do some Q&A is just my contacts. right? I love the game. I love every part of the game. I love sharing the game. I love teaching the game. I love promoting the game, not just here in the States, but all over. And, I have a passion for travel, a passion for coaching. My full-time job is I'm a high school teacher. So all this baseball I do and owning the business and coaching, my full-time job is a high school teacher. So, for me, that's where I am all day, every day. So this is, a passion of mine and something I do daily as well. So this is different ways. If you want to pick my brain, talk more, I'm always up to talk. This is my personal email. And then, my Instagram and Twitter. Those are my personal account and then our primetime accounts. If you take a look at any of those, the Instagram or Twitter, Chris and I are constantly putting up drills and stuff that we're doing in our facility and with our travel program, coaches clinics that we do and offer, and just kind of ways that we give back to the game. We're doing that all the time. So give us a follow and take a look on there. And we always share more drills and stuff that we're doing. So Colin, that's the end of what I've got here. Definitely would love to answer any questions or clarify anything on my end that people would like to know or know more about. But I'll send it back to you, Colin.
Thanks, John. Much appreciated. Thank you for all that information. A lot to take in, which is really, really good to see the visual content, because, as you and I chatted before, a lot of people take in what you say, but don't visualize the whole drill and whatever. And with John had an idle chat up front. John has given us permission for us to use all his resources, so that will be available to us, that we can always refer back to that at any stage. So John, big thanks to you from that part of it.
Of course.
Any questions from anybody? Can I ask you just to put it into the chat? It's probably easier, and we can pick up from there. If there aren't any questions right now and you do have a question for John, and it's something that you think about tonight or maybe tomorrow, or whatever the case is, you may email it to me. I'll send it off to John personally, or you can email it to John, as he did put his email address there, and will definitely get back to you. Saying that John's also presenting next week on the Wednesday the 16th. So if there is any questions from now until then, John will definitely be able to follow up on that at the same time. So we'll put it out there to everybody. Any questions being asked, please put it into the chat.
And one thing, just so you guys know, I mean, I covered a lot. I threw a lot at all of you today and tonight, I guess, on your end. And, it's a lot to digest. Some of it may be stuff that you've seen before. Some is completely brand new stuff that you've never done before. Some of it may even seem overwhelming, and that's okay. Right. When I first learned it, and as I still learn and grow, there's stuff that's overwhelming for me as well. So, it's all, remembering that, just take it a little bit at a time and do what you're comfortable doing. And as you go to teach it, it's going to make a big difference in the players that you're coaching, developing, working with.
So if you do go into the chat, John's actually put some stuff into there with all the drills, with all the YouTube videos that you can go back and drill. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to collaborate that all into one document and send it out to everybody, that we've all got it. So that will be distributed by BSUK. And thanks to John for that. So a question has come up from Ian Fibino back in South Africa. John, are you able to read the question?
Yep, I can see it. Let me see this here. Ian, man, I appreciate the message. And I appreciate you being here today. Let's see, trying to focus getting the athletes fielding the ball in front of them and not between their legs when using drill on the knee with the cap and mouth to get them. Yeah, I love this drill. We do this with I like doing it with our 12 and under. It's the exact group we use it with, because it's a great way to focus. For those who aren't familiar with it, you're fielding, you can do our infield daily drills or closer ground balls, and you just literally put the cap backwards and you put the brim of the hat in your mouth. And the only way a player can field the ground ball is if they put their head down. So that is a great drill, Ian. I love using that one with our younger kids. The older kids never want to put a hat in their mouth. It's a little bit different, but the younger kids, I do like that. That's just reiterating about the location of fielding the ball is just always huge, right? We're trying to make sure that they really focus on getting that out front. What we do when we get outside in the dirt, we'll put an X in the ground, or we'll put a cone or like a plastic disc and we'll show them this is where you have to field every ball. So that's a different drill that we do before too, is really setting up where that cone, or where showing them visually where that ball needs to be fielded, because sometimes that visual cue also helps them. So that's a good drill there. I like that.
Anybody else got a question? And like I say, if you aren't, or they haven't got a question right now, and you want to send it directly to John, there's his email again on the screen. Or alternatively, if you didn't pick that up, send me the email and I will then pass it on.
Sure. I see one here from Stuart. Let me read this here. So Stuart asks, how many throws would you limit players to during a session? I've also seen advice on funneling the ball to the chest. Can this be helpful to make a softer catch of the ball? Yep. So we'll start with the throws. When they go to make the throws, it depends on the time of year and how warm their arms are and how much they have or have not been throwing. What I like to do with our players, when they get to a practice, whether no matter the time of year, they'll get stretched and go through their warm up to get their body stretched. And then we will do our infield daily work before we throw, right? Because I use that as another method to get them loose and make sure they're properly warmed up. So that's one thing that I'll do with that. Go through our daily work. Then when we start, we'll go and play catch, and then we'll start incorporating more of our throwing in. But with the amount of throwing that a lot of our players are doing, if we're playing multiple games on a week or weekend, I do try to limit the throws a little bit just to make sure that they're ready for those games. So when we're doing a lot of those double play drills and stuff like that, I'll go anywhere from 5 to 6 balls at a time. And then you notice they've got a good, 3-4 minute break, and then they'll do another 5 or 6. So that way you're not doing so many throws in such a short period of time, back to back to back. So, 5-6 throws at a time, give it a minute or a couple minutes, and then jump back into it. We talked about at the beginning how you're fielding the ball. And there's not a right or wrong way of fielding it. The funneling, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Especially at the 12 and under age, when you funnel the ball, it's secure, right? You're not losing the ball. You're not, there's no fear of dropping the ball. But as you start to get older and the game speeds up and the players get faster, then you need to translate into a faster way of getting rid of that ball. So if you look at Derek Jeter when he played, right? Or you look at those guys, when they field the ball, they'll, on some of the plays, they'll funnel it into their chest and their stomach, but then they throw it 100 miles or 98 miles an hour across the diamond because their arms are that strong. When our 11-year-old or 10-year-old fields the ball and they go to make the throw across the diamond, it's usually like a rainbow, right? Loopy. And we don't have that much time. So that's why we like to try to eliminate extra movements when we can, to try to make sure that we have more time to get them out. But like I said, neither one is a wrong way to do it. It's just a quicker way to do it when you need to be faster.
Thanks for that, John. Yeah, on that one from Stuart, we teach a lot of the 6 F's in fielding. And part of that is the funneling. So obviously your feet, field, funnel, footwork, fire, follow. Correct.
Yep. And like I said, nothing there. It's not, I'd say it's not a wrong. It's just another way to go about it. And we do the same thing. We teach the funnel with our younger players as well, and our newer players. And even some of the older guys feel more comfortable and when they have strong arms. So not a wrong way at all. So definitely like hearing how other places do the teaching in terms too. It's good to learn that.
Anybody else got a question for John? Quiet audience today, John.
No worries, no worries.
It generally happens.
Another softball tonight too.
Yeah, a lot of things happening in this game football tonight. So
boy.
You and I spoke about earlier.
Yeah. So
anyway, all right, guys. So we're going to cut it there. We're going to say thanks to John for his presentation tonight. It is going to be available as I have recorded it, and like I said in the chat, John has put all the videos on YouTube. And we'll get everything else done and put together and presented out to everybody through your regional managers and things. Sorry, that's my alarm clock going off to tell me that it's now 9 o'clock with a big grandfather clock. Apologize for that. I can't stop it. So, John, thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Of course. Real quick, Stuart did have one additional thing I just want to add in. He asked if I ever advise a one-hop throw to first from a deep play. Yes, because when you try to make that long throw, it gets airmailed, or the player's arms usually aren't strong enough. So we do teach a one-hop to our first baseman, and more of a one-hop and not a short hop. So the ball takes a little bit longer of a hop, especially deep in the hole at shortstop or deep on the line in third base, just making an easier catch. So
awesome. Some great comments in there also in the chat. John from our side, from BSUK, and from everybody here in the UK at the moment. Thank you so much. We do look forward to seeing and hearing from you next week again. Everybody else, get the word out there that John's back next week on the 16th. And have a good evening. Good night, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Great to see you.
Right, we're good. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Of course. No.